we are ready to begin our final presentation of the day and of the conference. So to start us off, we are going to Kristen Kennedy for a recap of all the great stuff that we have gone over this week, all the monsters we've slain, and all of the wonderful data heroes leveling up work that we've done. So Kristen, over to you.
Thank you, Brandy. Welcome, everyone. So happy to see you on this last day. I know many of us are excited and relieved that it's done. And hopefully everyone's learned a lot. I don't have funny memes like Mike did this morning, but I just have data, and I think that's what we're all here about, right? So first off, we'll talk about day one. So if you remember, we had the Ask Love Anything and State of the Union in our keynote, and for that day we had 341 people attend, which is great. They all came out, wanted to hear about Ask Love questions, and that was an awesome kickoff to our week. Day two, we had all of our wonderful Kate Giovanni did a great daily data inspiration. We had our sessions on data catalog, our bite-sized breakouts, introduction to analytics. And one thing to highlight here, we can see, if you click, Brandy, is Analytics 101 was one of our higher numbers, and that just tells us people are really wanting to know the basics. And I think that we're going to use this data to go forward in the next year and hopefully make some of these things available throughout the year so you don't always have to wait for the data conference. So overall, really a great attendance. We had a total of 350 people come for day two between all these sessions. So that was wonderful. Day three, we had John Rome did a great daily data inspiration and told us all about himself and all the things that are going on. We had some great sessions. I was very excited to see that student profile data and the actionable analytics had a good amount of people coming. I think that's awesome. I think, you know, Josh and Jennifer both and Phil Arcuria have so much to share about everything that's going on in that data area, and we value everyone who came to present on the subjects that they are the experts in. So day four, we had a total of 305 people, so a little bit less, but still that was a really good showing. That was exciting. So day four, we had, we're still waiting. Like everyone else, data, we're sometimes at the mercy of our data. So the Zoom data takes, there is quite a bit of it. Unfortunately, we can't just go load only our data for the day for Zoom. We get everyone. So unfortunately, we don't have that data, but stay tuned. Maybe next week we can share that all the way through today in the Slack channel. So beyond just all the great presentations that we saw, we really wanted to celebrate each other. So we had our celebrations, and I wanted to talk to you guys about this because as we look, our top 5 nominators who are really feeling generous, and I thank Paul and Phil and Roger for all their generosity in nominating people. But I noticed that these are all people in UTO, and I know there's a lot of you out there who have great people who you really want to thank. And so I'd love to hear from you. The conference isn't over yet. This celebrations is going to stay open as long as we need to. So please go out and celebrate people. Here are our top 5, our top nominations. These people all got more than one, which is great, and they all deserve it. So, but we need to see more. We need to see everyone. We've had a total of 38 celebrations, which is awesome, but I know we can do better. So please go out today and end on a high note. Thank that person, whether maybe it's a presenter that did a great job or just someone who's helped you over the last year and you really want to celebrate. So we had the celebrations, and that was awesome. And then we wanted to celebrate with badges. So we took these monsters, we made them into badges, and we then had, some people have gone out and filled out those badges, which is great. If you go to the data conference site, you can still get your badge. We want you to get that badge. So right now, the data tools badge is the #1 badge, and the data finding badge, which we know, we've seen that everybody wants to find data and use the tools with it and then report on it. So that was great. And some of the sessions that people use to get those badges. The next click, Brandy. We had Power Query 101, Introduction to Alteryx. We had all these great sessions that people use. So if you took any of those sessions, go out and get that badge for it. We want to make sure you get recognized for upskilling and getting those skills to slay those data monsters. I also just wanted to point out in the next click that we also have 2 badges that you won't see out there that anyone can get. And that's for the Crouching Moderator Hidden Hero and the Presenter badge. And we wanted to recognize everyone. So if you presented or you were a volunteer, you should have gotten a badge. If you didn't, let us know. But we wanted to thank everyone and give them the badges that they deserve. And the Data Hero badge, don't forget about that if you've gone to all these sessions. Right now we only have 1. Let's get that number up. So when people filled out the badges, they gave some key takeaways. So we wanted to highlight just a few. So people weren't aware, someone wasn't aware that Power Query before, and that's great learning experience. That's awesome. Someone said the term session table examples and ways to break down data, and they appreciated those examples from the student profile data presentation. Someone said Alteryx may be the wizard of data transformation. That's awesome. If we're going to slay data monsters, we need those wizarding skills. From the swirl presentation, someone said that they love that the university is actually looking at this data and trying to piece together the why, which is great. We also had someone from the HR analytics session say that they had forgotten about the metrics dashboard and Connexa, and that they were really looking forward to the future data projects coming out that are currently in the works. And then that someone said their key takeaway that there is an analytics group that they can reach out to for a consultation to better determine which tools and types of report work for my needs. And that really made us feel good. And then the very last key takeaway that we are so excited about is that someone said that they will be okay when my reports retires. And we really, really hope that everyone out there feels that way, because we're really going to work with you as much as possible to make it okay. So thank you very much. It's been great, and hopefully that gives you some idea of what we did. And Elizabeth, I think.
Thank you, Kristen. So I'm going to continue Kristen's tradition, and we're going to talk about a little bit more data to round our data conference out. We're going to finish the day with some of your feedback from the analytics survey that some of you all took, as well as a recap of the IDEA Hackathon, where we started the process of taking some of this survey data and some of this feedback and turning it into some plans for some actions. So our analytics insight survey was our data-driven way to slay some data monsters. We have 112 respondents from the data that we analyzed this week, but we're now up to 147, so keep those responses coming. So we're going to continue to look at this data. So for the next week or so, we will keep the survey open, and Josh can put that survey link for you all in the Zoom chat. Our purpose here was to identify and prioritize opportunities for improvement. And there are a couple sections of the survey. So looking at your role and your experiences with reporting and data, and then also looking at feedback in various areas of UTO analytics and data intelligence. So what were the data and reporting experiences of those 112 respondents we had at the time that we analyzed for this presentation? So we had about 34% were our data apprentices. So running or modifying those existing reports, and then about a quarter data wizards and a quarter data citizens. So those data wizards developing those more detailed and technical processes and skills, our data citizens consuming content and reports, and about 15% of our respondents said that they created reports from scratch. From that survey, from the results we have so far, how did people say that we get help for data and analytics needs? We get a lot of help from individual people. So our actual analytics related support is very human intensive. So people are, here we're looking at with our red bars of those who, the percentage of respondents who ranked as 1, 2, or 3 their coworker. So that's over 80% of folks responding to the survey ranked as 1, 2, or 3 their coworker as the first source of reporting and data help. And then our business SMEs were second. We also had a lot of love for Slack and the knowledge base as well. So going into a little bit of our qualitative results, what's working best in the current ASU data and reporting environment? It was very heartening to see how much the community cares about the people. So there's comments like lots of friendly experts willing to help. The BI team has been very helpful and supportive. UTO analytics team is always available to answer questions. I hope that culture continues in the future. And then folks also liked analytics.asu.edu. Ease of access to analytics.asu.edu and the published reports are nice. Analytics.asu.edu is, in my limited experience, is most useful to me. I like the analytics site and being able to run dashboards, people liking the website and the knowledge base, and comments that it keeps getting better with time. So many people, looking at some of the more quantitative results, many people know where to go to get their questions answered. So these are the percent of respondents who strongly agree, somewhat agree, or were neutral. So on that top half of the response options, 77% responded that I know where to go to get my analytics questions answered. And then when folks get there, when folks get to some of those sources of information, people seem to largely like what they're finding there. So my questions are answered quickly when I enter a ticket for analytics on ServiceNow, 88%. People love our Slack channels. I love the analytics Slack channels, 96%. I can get my questions answered quickly using the analytics Slack channels, 85%. So lots of great Slack feedback that came up in the comments too. But there are some challenges. So some of our folks are struggling to navigate existing data assets. So we had, this is again, the percent of respondents who strongly agree, somewhat agree, or are neutral. So only 30% had one of those responses to the statement, when I don't know how to find a field or data, when I don't know how to find a field, how a field or data element is defined, I know exactly where to go to look. 42%, it is easy to find a report or dashboard that I'm looking for. And 45%, it's easy for me to find what data is available. So definitely hearing you that finding some of those existing data assets is something that we're struggling with. So it takes our whole ASU analytics community to move us forward. So we are going to continue some of these conversations that we started in the Idea Hackathon in that Data Hackathon channel. So please feel free to join us there. I want to thank everybody who responded to the survey and for those responses so far. So if you don't give us feedback, if the whole community doesn't give us feedback, then we can't prioritize and work together to make those improvements. Also, feedback on some of the solutions implemented too is absolutely vital. So really appreciate the whole community coming together, giving us feedback and communicating. So I'm going to turn things over now to Josh, who's going to talk a little bit about how we took the results of that survey in the Idea Hackathon and made a little bit of progress. Josh?
Thank you. I wasn't able to unmute myself. Okay, so yeah, as Elizabeth mentioned, we took the results of that survey and decided to do this hackathon session. So we identified some of the common concerns, troubles that people were indicating on the survey. And we said, hey, let's go address some of these and see what kind of ideas we can come up with. So we identified the monster at our door. And we had two different concepts. One was finding reports, and the other one was training. And we found that both ended up addressing the same three monsters. So finding data, documentation, and data tools. However, next slide. And next slide. It was really just one monster. We were both fighting the same monster. It was Lindruamel, the analytics orientation monster. So Lindruamel's strengths are invisibility, obfuscation, and it causes earthquakes whenever something changes. And it preys on not just new employees, but also existing employees. It can be defeated with documentation and communication. And so we were addressing that to fight Lindruamel. So our quest began. We identified the tools that we were going to fight it with. Analytics website, the data persona survey, the knowledge base. Lots of these resources already have a lot of content, and a lot of them are currently being developed to hopefully address things like this. But we thought there was a little bit more to it than just improving those sources. So our plan was, well, we needed some place to start. So maybe on the analytics site, we just have a start here button. If you're new, if you're not sure where to go, let's create something clear to get you where you need to be. And so we've got that start here button, and it might lead to resources like the persona survey. Maybe you just need to figure out where you sit within the environment, and then we can use that to help inform someone what tools, what information they need based on the role they have, the tasks they're going to be performing, and creating some sort of an interface that allows people to maybe answer a few basic questions and then directs them to the material that should be helpful to them. And then, so, oh, really quick, go back. And then the secondary would be this map of the analytics landscape. So what's out there, and just giving people an idea of what those tools do for them potentially, so they can figure out if they want it or not. And then links to additional support, because not everything fits within those two categories. Okay. So for some of you, you might have been on the analytics site and scrolled down to the bottom of the homepage and seen this. There's lists of tools that are supported by analytics. This is great. And if you're like me, the next step was trying to click on those tools to get more information about them, because they kind of look like buttons. There's even a border around them. So we thought, hey, maybe we take this a step further. And it turns into a list of tools with descriptions. And then you could click on those to get more information, like a link to how to request access, what the requirements are for access, and then more detailed help articles or videos about what you can do with those tools. And then in addition to that, once we get people to their destination, we still need to provide them with more information. Right? We have lots of stuff in the knowledge base, can be hard to understand, find, but let's get more content out there. Let's add some video information. I know Tori over on the Calibra team has already started some videos, and I think that's been really helpful. And then we want to make sure we have outreach. So maybe we get a slide within the new employee orientation just to let people know about analytics. So if you're using data, here's a few resources available to you, and at least get them to that start here button if they need it, and make them aware of the analytics team that's available. Or we take it on the road. Maybe the colleges are having an all hands meeting. We can get a slide in there, or go do a 5-minute discussion, answer some questions. Maybe join a lunch and learn, or a data and donuts, or a Friday and French toast that these departments are already hosting. And of course, just really promote those Slack channels, because people have found those to be so valuable. Okay. And so we've gotten people where they say the information they need. We've told them how to use it, but we still haven't really addressed finding the actual data assets themselves. So within analytics, you can search for reports. Within Calibra, you can search for data. We want to make sure that we're including the information required to make those searches useful. So tagging reports, adding descriptions for reports, adding that metadata within Calibra for the data dictionary. And then we also, we're looking at how can we improve the searching algorithms themselves to provide more relevant results to users. And everyone needs a solid last line of defense. So if all else fails, self-service can't be done. We want to make sure that people are aware of, and that we continue these one-on-one consultation sessions with the analytics team. We offer group sessions, and potentially we can even start a mentorship program for new analysts who come to ASU. All right, we can do it. I think we've got some good ideas, and hopefully we can push some of these forward. And over to Mike.
Great. Thanks so much, Elizabeth and Josh, and thanks, Kristen. That was great content. And let's finish up here. So our looking ahead at our good way to just finish strong, and wanted to let you guys know from our side on the UTO data team, kind of what we see and what our philosophies are. One more time, thanks for the organizing team. Can't say enough about this. Big round of applause from me and everybody here. I love the format. I think we're gonna have a conversation when we get to that point where we're having in-person conferences again. Is this better in person or over Zoom? It's a tough call because there's just a lot of good positives on both sides, but it's been wonderful. Went off without a hitch. So thanks everyone for such a phenomenal job on this. It's been great. Really appreciate the time and the effort. So thoughts on our data team and what Josh and Elizabeth just talked about, kind of our philosophies and directions, is kind of similar. And I promise this will be my last goofy pop culture reference, but I only say this, not the tagline of get your head in the game, but the tagline of we're all in this together. That's kind of what I like to think about when we talk about the data team, and we look at we are all in this together. I always say we're all trying to help students succeed here at ASU. It's the core of what we do. We're trying to solve the same problems. We're coming up against these things and looking at data from the same place, and the fact that we commune and share is such a positive thing. I use a story of folks who've bought something on Amazon. If you ever try to get help and get customer service, I'm pretty sure most of us have never talked to an Amazon rep. You go through the web page and the self-service and click, and I want to return this and leave a comment for that. That works great for Amazon because of the millions of customers that are out there. That's not us. We're not so big that we're saying, sorry, you can't talk to a human being. You got to go through this form. We want to do some self-service because some things are procedural and it makes it easier to everybody. But we also want to make sure that you guys know that we're here. That's part of what we do. I listened to the survey results that Elizabeth shared, and it's great. It really takes a good pulse on our partners or customers that are out there. There was one where she talked about where you go to for help, and people say they go to the subject matter expert or the coworker. That's great. We're never going to preempt that. We're never going to know as much about financial aid as Ross and his team do. We're never going to know much about census data as the institutional analysis group do. Those are absolutely the subject matter experts. I like to look at us on the UTO data analysis team as sort of pseudo SMEs. We know a little bit about a lot of things. So we might be able to help you. We might be able to point you in the right direction if who can help you. We might point you to tools that allow you to get self-service on your own, like we've just been talking about, and things that, like Josh mentioned, we continue to do better on. But this is definitely not, sorry, don't talk to us, we're busy, click on this link. Like, we're here for the support and for the help. I looked at this slide that Elizabeth shared from the survey, and she did a really good job of saying, here's some things we're doing well, here's things we could do better on. On that latter point, this is about tools and training. And, I'm looking over here and I'm looking at half of the people, don't agree with the statement. I know where to go to get training for tools. And if I need a new tool, I know where to go. I get it. like Josh mentioned, you know, things aren't clickable as you might think. So we know that's a lot of what we can be doing better, and we continue to work on that. So I look at our team. This is us. This is the folks on the data analysis team. You've heard from most all of us during this presentation. Hopefully we've shared a little bit about what we do, and come knock on our door, Slack us, drop us an email. We are never short on time to kind of say, oh, I get your question. You know, here's who to talk to. Sometimes we might jump in and help right there and solve your problem. We're really aiming to make sure we fill those needs for everyone. So bottom line from our team, we are here to support you in the role that we do to support all of our students and staff here at ASU. So please use us accordingly, and we're happy to do it. That is our job, and we're proud of it. All right, I want to finish on a positive note. As we mentioned at the top of the conference on Monday, we know there's been problems with reports backing up in the mornings. The Alteryx server was upgraded on Monday this week. We've already been seeing some improved performance on the queuing of Alteryx jobs that happens in the morning. So hopefully you are as well. If you're not, if you're still having issues, a lot of folks talk in the Slack channels. That's great. We're there, we're watching it. So please share with what's going on. But we've already been seeing some great improved performance on that front. For Tableau server, just got the dollars approved for that this week. Brandy and I are working with the vendor, and also many of you know that we are on a shared instance of Tableau server. That's why the URL is vi.arizona.edu. U of A is sort of the purchasing entity for it. So we talked with U of A and NAU and the Board of Regents, and we are upgrading Tableau server, and that should be in place. Our goal is around mid-December. We're going through the invoicing and purchasing process now, and we not only have doubled the size of the server, but we have a 10-fold increase in storage. So folks that have 1 gigabyte extracts in Tableau server will have a lot more room to put it there. Yeah, Paul, I see you saying woot woot in the chat. You're the guy who puts all those 1 gig files out there. So we will bend to what you need, my friend. So hopefully you'll see the improvements there. And we understand the last thing we want to do is to impact your day-to-day jobs. And we're doing our part to help that. So with that, we are at the end. A couple of housekeeping items. One, the data conference site that you've been going to all week, the Zoom recordings will be on there for everyone to grab. So look to the data conference for that. We have our Slack channel and data community, in addition to the support channels and tools support channels we have going on. So those are there. We will have a survey going out. We'd love to get feedback from you guys on how things went. So look for a survey that's coming out. And then that is it. So thank you all. Thank you for your time, your attention, your contribution. We're very happy to put this on for 4th year and looking forward to a 5th year. And just want to say to everyone, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Stay healthy, stay safe. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye, everybody.